All right, I'm going to try a joke on you because I was told this would be funny to project managers. So we're going to test it. So how many project managers does it take to change a light bulb? Well, it depends on whether you're using Agile, Lean, or Waterfall. All right, for those of you that didn't get that at all, I'm going to try that again at the end and see if you learned anything. All right, good morning. Welcome to the 2014 Project Delivery Summit. I'm Russ Hicks, and I'm going to be your host for this forum. We're really, really excited. Every session is packed. Sherilyn wanted me to make sure to let those of you who are on the waiting list, remind you that you're on the waiting list. So before you go in and take a seat in one of these rooms, officially every room is packed, but you know, if they're getting ready to start and there's an empty chair, you're more than welcome to grab it. And then if somebody was late, oh well, okay? So, every year, the state of California invests billions of dollars in new programs and projects, right? And as many of you know, historically, those investments have had varied degrees of success. So what is it that separates a project that comes in on time, under budget, with happy customers, versus those that struggle and sometimes even face failure? Delivering a successful project requires the ability to identify what your customer needs, assemble teams that can work together, deal with unexpected requirements that must be incorporated, sustain project life cycle that sometimes bridges administrations, and so on, right? What then do project teams really need in order to deliver a successful project? Well, there's many skills that you need to develop, processes that you need to learn, networks and relationships that you need to build. So we've created this summit with the goal to help you develop in all of these areas. This summit brings together the various disciplines that we feel form the optimal project team. Everybody understands for a big project, you need an awesome project manager, right? Because government projects can be very complex. But you also need a business analyst. Do we have any business analysts in the room? You can go ahead and raise your hand, it's not bad. The business analyst is there to identify the needs of the line of business, to determine the scope of the project and make sure the final product meets the needs of the organization. They're good guys. How about change managers? Yeah, one brave soul. You need a change manager to make sure the organization is prepared for all the changes of a new service or a way of operating that's going to be introduced into the way that that unit functions. You need a savvy procurement specialist, the people that get all of the blame and none of the acknowledgement, right? They need to understand how to leverage the bid and purchase process to acquire the best solutions for the project. You need a resource to manage vendor resources, because I'm sure all of you realize there's a few differences between the private and public sector. And so you need that individual that can act as the communication conduit between those two worlds. Now, last, but definitely not least, you need a committed, informed, and empowered executive sponsor that can set a vision, clear hurdles, and hold the team accountable. So we've tried to assemble all of those. We've tried to provide training and education in all of those disciplines. Hopefully, when we come back together at lunch after a couple hours of training and education, you'll start to feel more like a conjoined team. And then by the afternoon, when we come back for the award ceremony, you'll begin to see how each of you makes the project more successful individually, and then coming together as a team. The goal of this forum is to leverage the knowledge of all of those disciplines to identify consistent elements that are present in all successful projects and use that knowledge to build a roadmap to implementing large projects successfully within California government. Over the last 6 months, let's see if this works. Over the last 6 months, teams of public and private sector people have worked diligently to come together and identify the goals and objectives for this conference. They have worked to start a process of building expert teams. They want to create communities of interest that live on beyond this forum. They want to help each of you become more valuable to your organization. They want to expose you to the art of project delivery, not just the science. They want you to be able to interact with your team, your peers, your boss more effectively. And most of all, they want you to have a fun, enjoyable, and educational experience today. We hope that through this conference you'll gain resources that can help you succeed and that you in turn can leverage the success so that you become a resource for projects in the future. This is kind of impromptu, but could everybody that was on the advisory board please stand up? Can we get a round of applause for these people? Thank you. Of course, none of this would have been possible without the financial and educational support from a group of companies that did way more than just write checks. The companies that you see represented on the screen have contributed a great deal of time and expertise working with their government team members to deliver meaningful and effective educational content. Once again, please let them know that you appreciate this with a round of applause. By the way, this is an educational forum, it's not a trade show, right? However, around the periphery of the room, you'll see people that want to partner with you. You're going to have an opportunity to experience them within your discipline and associated with the groups that have come together for that particular area of training. But I strongly encourage you to come back in here a little early at lunch after you get your food and spend some time talking to these people if you don't know them already. Given the amount of time and effort and resources they all committed, they care. They really do. They want you to succeed. Get to know them. This forum and the Project Academy series produced by the Workforce Development Team from the Department of Technology are all the direct result of the vision of this forum's executive sponsor and your state CIO, Carlos Ramos. He understands the challenges with large government projects, and he has a passion to not only achieve successful projects in the state, but to make sure that through educational opportunities like this, that the people involved with those projects have the opportunity to receive the training necessary to succeed. More than a decade ago, he had a vision for the establishment of an entity to implement and manage some of the most critical and complex projects in the state, and he helped create the Office of System Integration. So he knows what you're going through. As the state CIO, he is committed to improving the way that the state approaches and delivers large projects. So, without any further ado, please join me in welcoming Carlos Ramos.
Well, good morning, everybody. You know, I'm going to take a page out of Russ's book. First of all, Russ, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, and thank you for pulling all of this together. You know, I know the advisory board really helped, and certainly without the help of the sponsors, we wouldn't all be here. But talk about a vision. I think this was also I think Russ sold himself short on visions for these sorts of events. But anyway, Russ, thank you very much. Taking a page out of your book, because I'm always looking to learn lessons where I can, I'm going to start with a joke as well. It's actually more of a riddle. So, how many conference organizers does it take to change a light bulb? The answer is none. That's what the sponsors are for, right? Okay, so speaking of sponsors, I do want to echo, first of all, Russ's gratitude and appreciation to our sponsors, really for helping to make this possible. As Russ said, not only with their financial contributions, but also with their willingness to devote their time and effort and expertise and energy to make sure that we in the state are properly educated and trained and gain the benefit of their vast experience. So I'm going to, unlike Russ, you know, he asked you to show your appreciation with a round of applause. I'm going to ask you to do something a little more than that. As I look around the room at all the firms that are represented here, every single one of these firms has been a partner with the state agency, and in most cases with multiple state agencies on big, important, and successful projects, sometimes even the projects that have had hiccups. I would encourage you to go around, spend some time with them, and just, you know, share your experiences, share your questions and challenges, and ask them about their experiences and challenges. I think that's a really good way to show appreciation to them as well. So as we get time during our networking breaks or our you know, other little downtimes here and there, make sure you spend time out there. One other person, you know, it obviously does take a whole team to put something like this together, but from my office, there is one other person that I want to particularly point out and thank for being, you know, kind of our internal executive sponsor for this, and that's Christy Borchin. Christy, if you wouldn't mind standing up. She's our Deputy Director over the Office of Professional Development. And so, you know, Russ mentioned a couple of things that she's involved in. This is one of them. She's got a very full plate, and so she's doing a great job for us, and I think for all of you. It's interesting to me, then one other plug, if I can. As you go outside, we have a table set up out there for the Department of Technology, but what we did is we reached out to a bunch of other departments and said, hey, if you have job opportunities or anything you want to showcase, come by and showcase it at our table. So if you get a chance, go do a little bit of networking out there, because it's chock full of resources, and some of the staff from my department are going to be there to help. So I'll talk a little bit about it in a few minutes, but some of the folks from our consulting unit will be there. The folks that are in charge of redoing our project approval process, our STAR project, will be there. We'll have information on upcoming training and, you know, everything that's available, including our online training programs. And as I said, and I mentioned before, you know, I always figure you got to strike when the opportunity is there. So we got some job announcements out there. So any of you that want a challenging, exciting career, or that really, we won't tell anybody, but if you don't like the department you're with now, come check it out. And then we also have information on our technology services, such as Cal Cloud, CalNet 3, and then representatives from OTEC's Customer Delivery Division. So if you get a chance, stop by. Okay, so it's been just a little less than a year since we were here last, right, when we did the first project delivery summit, and it's been a pretty busy year, I would have to say, for those of us in the project world. And so it's captured a lot of my attention. I think, you know, it's kind of nice to see attention being paid to how we successfully deliver projects from the training and development and other aspects. How many of you that have been around for a while, how many of you remember when one of the biggest complaints in technology was you didn't get really the attention of policymakers and decision makers? Can I just see a show of hands? A few of them, right? So I have some good news and some bad news in regard to that. One is, the good news is we're getting a lot more attention nowadays, right? The bad news is it's almost always negative. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Just since the last time we've met, I'm going to share with you a couple of, and these are really just the tip of the iceberg, a couple of important project things that have happened since then. We don't really get a lot of attention to them. So, for example, the Health and Human Services Agency, OSI, as Russ mentioned, and the Department of Social Services rolled out a massive statewide case management and payrolling system. They successfully completed the rollout. Never heard anything about it, but it's been in production, and it was a very well done and successfully delivered project. Health and Human Services Agency also delivered our health benefit exchange for the state of California. It went live. It was actually used as a national example when they compared to other states, and particularly the federal government, that didn't do so well, right? CHP and the working with the Department of Parks and Rec successfully rolled out a computer-assisted dispatch system that has both agencies working together and leveraging the same platform, leveraging the same technology to collaborate, to reduce costs and reduce risks. They rolled that out just a couple of months ago. Other big projects that are going to hit major milestones very quickly, the Franchise Tax Board's tax system is going to hit a major milestone. I won't tell you what it is because I don't want to steal their thunder, but in about a month from now, they're going to hit a very major milestone, but they're ahead of schedule and I believe under budget. I'm not going to, don't quote me on that, but they're doing really well. So I think next year we'll have them just teach the whole thing here. Department of Corrections as well has hit, and it really pretty much is complete with their system for managing inmates. And of course, in about a month, Fiscal, you know, the project everybody thought would never work, is about to go live on Wave 1. We've already gone live on pre-Wave on Fiscal, but we're about to go live. So there's a lot of good things happening out there, but unfortunately, we never hear about those things. What you do hear about are, you know, bad headlines. I don't know how many times I've walked into a legislator's office or a meeting, and they say, "Why can't California ever get anything right?" Right? They have the wrong perspective on what we're doing over here. There's audits that are required or requested of how badly California handles its projects, and also a lot of bad press. And usually, if there's a news story, it's not necessarily a good one. So we're here to change all of that. You know, we're here to get some help for you as project teams in terms of how do we make things better? How do we as government get consistently good at delivering and rolling out technology projects? And they're really important to do that because, you know, fundamentally, at the end of the technology project of any solution that we implement are a bunch of users that support constituents within the state of California. So it's really important to get things right. So I do have a couple things that I'm here to announce and share with you. Because we at the Department of Technology really have been focusing on these things and figuring out how do we provide help to project teams. So we have some resources that I want to share with you that are available to all of you. First and foremost, we do partner with organizations such as public sector partners to provide training and education for all of you and training opportunities that bring you together with experts in the field that can share their experience. Hopefully you'll also take advantage of this time to connect with each other and build networks to help in your own career path and create success for yourself. A couple of the things that we're doing specifically, training, okay? So Russ mentioned this, our Project Academy series, to me is one of the best things that we've done, and you know, for a couple of reasons. One is, what we've really tried to do with the Project Academy series is focus it on the areas that we see as being challenges for projects over and over. And so what we've done is we've gone out to the state workforce and said, okay, let's go find our most seasoned and our most experienced leaders and ask them to teach these classes. And you know, what's good about them is these folks have experience right here in California delivering projects. And so they're very practical, they're very, I think, convenient. They're, you know, like 3 or 4 hour sessions at a time. And you know about them well in advance. So this is our next one. It's coming up on June 20th and on the 25th. We usually have at least 2 sessions. One, because the demand has been really great, but also, you know, in recognition that not everybody, you know, not everybody's schedule is as flexible to just pick a single day. So our next one is on oh, can't even read it from here. Oh, it's on project transition, that's right. We've had probably a good, close to 10 sessions now, probably a good 25, 30 people that have come in and helped teach these classes. So any of you been to any of these? See a show of hands. What'd you think of them? Were they helpful? They're pretty good, right? So if you see any of the instructors, because I have seen a couple of them here, make sure you let them know. In addition to those, we also have classes that we've developed in business analysis and business requirements. So Again, we're focusing on trying to provide additional training and learning opportunities. You can get information about these on our website under the Office of Professional Development. Here's another thing. ITLA 21. Any of you guys out there? You see any ITLA? Come on, don't be shy. In fact, let's have you stand up. So ITLA 21. Thank you, Denise. I saw you there. See, she's a smart ITLA person. She's right up front. Okay, you guys can sit down. ITLA has done a fabulous job this year. First of all, they're a very sharp class. But what they did for their project was to put together a set of tools for project readiness. A pretty comprehensive guide on business process modeling. And because it is comprehensive, they put together a quick start guide for it, and then a guide for organizational change management. And then what they did, just for your convenience, is they put them all together in a project readiness packet. Again, you know, they just did a session on this last week where they presented it. We must have had about 300 people total attend the session, and I thought it was just fabulous. They're very practical, very tactical, and easy to understand and easy to follow. Step-by-step instructions on how do you prepare your department. It's based off of some of the tools that Fiscal has been using, and I think they've just done a great job. This also is available online on our website. Here's something else that we did, which I thought was really a good idea. What we did is we asked a group of experts to come in and conduct an independent survey and assessment to go around and look at the project portfolio in California. Talk to project managers, talk to procurement folks, talk to project sponsors, talk to oversight agencies, talk to other control agencies, and catalog the lessons that we've learned in various aspects of the projects. And then bring all of those together and put together a report that showcases for us by subject area, you know, what are the lessons that we've learned across the project portfolio, and what recommendations do we have for projects across the board. So that also will be available on our website very quickly. And the important thing for you to know about that is that, you know, we're paying, excuse me, we're paying close attention to it. So what we're learning out of lessons learned are going to go to inform and influence the policies that we put out, the procedures that we come up with, and some of the training that we develop. So that's coming out. Stay tuned. It'll be on our website. Like I said, probably we're really just in the final stages of making it look nice, but it's a very easy read, and it'll be available for download on our website. So one of the other things that we've found as we've done oversight is that we run into some challenges over and over again. And a lot of times departments and project teams, even, you know, the most experienced ones, but more often the ones that are, you know, kind of new at the game, need a little bit of extra help in terms of how do you get over certain humps when you hit them in the life cycle of your project. So we've developed a consulting unit. And the idea behind this consulting unit is that we get some experts that are expert in different areas. It could be governance, it could be on testing, it could be, you know, you see some of the different subject areas there, and we make them available to departments and to projects as they need them. So we'll have information out there. That's a group headed up by Mary Winkley. We have the folks on board now, and they have been going out working and helping departments. And it's been very effective. So again, just another resource for you as project teams. The idea is to help you get over the hump, but also share some of their information and expertise. Oops. Here's another very important piece, because, you know, we're looking to how can we help you, and one of the big areas that we find is the whole process for how we approve projects was a little bit antiquated. It was, I think, put together in 1906, right after the San Francisco earthquake. So we thought maybe it's time to update it a little bit. And so that's what we're doing. And we're not doing this by ourselves. So we, you know, my department is leading the effort, but what we've done is we've gone out to the project and the IT community in the state and said, hey, come in and help us come up with a better way of approving the projects. And fundamentally, the idea behind them is that what we're trying to do is to address some of the risks that we know hit departments and projects over and over, address them up front as you're going through the approval process so that you don't run into them later. The other idea is to try and make it a little bit of an easier process. So, you know, any of you that have ever done an FSR, that thing's, you know, it's terrible, right? It's a lot of work. We ask you tons of information, a lot of which we ask you at a point in the process that you don't really know. So our idea is to break that up and say, okay, we're only going to ask you what we need to know at certain stages of the approval process. And then finally, the goal of it too is to make sure that there's a tighter alignment, because we've seen this as a success factor, a tighter alignment between the business side of the house, the program side of the house, and the project and IT side of the house. And ultimately, of course, with the idea of making the chances of success a lot better. Here's something else we're doing, and I think mostly the folks in the audience, and including the vendors, probably mostly the vendors, are going to be very happy about this. We're trying to change the way we do project procurements. And fundamentally what we're trying to do, it's really simple. It's simplify the process, take out the bureaucracy, increase the communication, and our hope is that, and our goal is to increase competition, get better values for the state, and ultimately end up with better program and project outcomes. Again, we're not doing this alone. We're working with departments, and we're actually going out to the vendor community as well and asking for their input. A couple of other things real quickly, and then I'll get ready to wrap up here. Here's something else that's coming. We just got approved, I think, almost all the way through the process, right? We're still working through it, but we put forward a proposal in the May revise to establish a project management office for the state. Something like OSI, but available to the rest of the state, especially for departments that don't take on projects all that often. So the idea is to create an organization of expertise in project management, provide a career ladder for those of you that want to become, get into the project line of work, and develop a center of expertise that can be available to departments. So we're going through the budget process right now. So far, I think everybody's conceptually on board with it. We just got to get through the budget process, and so far so good, but stay tuned. If all goes well, we'll be kicking that off in July, and we'll probably have more job announcements out there, maybe even before July. And speaking of expertise, one of the things that's very critical, and I think all of you are running into this, is the need to develop our future leaders. The need to make sure that we have people ready to step in as the challenges or as new opportunities arise. So again, through Christie's office, we put together a guide for departments on how to do project or successful workforce planning. We put together a comprehensive guide, and then for those of you that like the Reader's Digest version, we also have a very short and very readable quick start guide. So those, again, will be available on our website. And if you have any questions about it, flag Christy down. I can ask her to stand up again if you guys want to get a look at her again. But flag her down and ask her about it. So all of these are available. These resources are available to you online to be able to be downloaded at our website. That's our website address there. But again, we'll have folks out here. Catch any of the folks around as you go through your day, and talk to them about it. These are resources that are really geared to help our project teams gear up for success and be more consistent and better able to successfully and consistently deliver projects. So I'm going to release you in a second to hear our keynote speaker, but I do have a challenge for all of you, and I want to leave all of you with this, because training and education and experience are all good, good partnerships. But there's also one key element that needs to happen here today, and we're hoping to do this in all of our project areas or all of our training opportunities and conferences. Here's my challenge to you. Here's what I'd like you to do. Before the end of today, I'd like you to collect 3 new business cards, and I'm going to do this myself too. And I mean new. I don't mean people you already know that you always go out to lunch with, right? Collect 3 business cards of people that you hear, speakers, maybe other people that ask good questions at the sessions that you're at, or somebody that shares something that you think, I could learn from that person, or they could learn from me, right? So get those 3 business cards, and then over the next month, arrange some time to meet with those folks. Sit down for coffee, grab a lunch together or something, and when you do, share with each other. Share your questions, your challenges, or your experience on projects, and see what they can share with you, and start to build your own project success network. Part of the magic that happens here is the opportunity to network. So make sure you do that, because I'm watching all of you, first of all, and when I run into you in about a month, I'm going to say, hey, who'd you meet with? Let me see your business cards, and let me see your Rolodex, or maybe your contact list. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to turn it back over to Russ. He'll introduce you to our morning keynote, which I think you're going to learn a lot from. Gopal and I have had a chance to chat, and he's kind of previewed for me what he's going to share with all of you. And so make sure you listen well to him. Don't forget my challenge, and enjoy the rest of the summit. So come on up, Russ.